Welcome everyone to a very, very late night version of Rooftop Perspectives. I had it in my mind from when I woke up to come out here, and the day just took me over. You know, sometimes you have days that just fly away so fast, and the thing is that the older you get is the faster that time goes by. So you have to keep that in mind when you plan your day. And I had several quotes that I wanted to expound on during the day, but one just came to me and I said, you know what, let me talk about this, because this has been coming up in conversations with other people who have certain issues with their relationships, certain issues with their own mentality, and I just wanted to pass on a few things that I kind of encountered in different people and just in situations in life, and it all hit me at one time. So I said, you know what, let me get down and touch on this subject. I was looking a little fuzzy there, so let me just make sure everything is all right. As you can see, it's pretty much quiet. Now, this is not 3 o'clock in the morning, but it may be close to maybe after 11. But this is what I like about this place, and this is the edge of the busy city. This is not up in the mountains yet. You'll see none of this in the mountains at all, but things get really quiet here, and there's a freedom here that I haven't experienced since growing up in Richmond Hill, Jamaica, Queens in the 1970s, when we had fireflies and snakes and rabbits and all types of praying mantises and wildlife. Now New York City for a long time has lost that, but this place here is going to be like this for a long time. Maybe certain parts of the city will develop, but there's hundreds of miles of mountain range and just open range where that forever feel that I always wanted will always be there. But let me not ramble on about my own feelings and thoughts about life, because I like being able to do this. I like being able to, even if I'm a little fatigued, which I am, but I know I'd be happier once I get these words off of my chest. And I'll call it the psychosis of the scratch and dent individual. I can say the scratch and dent man or the scratch and dent woman, but I'll just say individual, because this will go for both men and women, even though in this video I may mention women or men, but regardless it means both, right? What do I mean by scratch and dent? Because there are many people who may not understand what that term means when I say that. Well, back in the United States, I don't know what they call it in the UK, I don't know what they call it here in the motherland, especially Ghana, since I live here. But a scratch and dent sale is a sale where an electronics or appliance store is selling things at a reduced price, right? They're selling things at a reduced price. Let me make sure this camera is focused, because I know I had, okay, no, we don't want to get up that close on me, right? I didn't check my breath. But a scratch and dent sale is when an appliance store that sells refrigerators and dryers and washers and deep freezers, every now and then they'll have a scratch and dent sale. And a scratch and dent sale is, like I said, when they sell one of those appliances at a reduced price, because in the transit or the transportation of that particular appliance and the handling of it, they may have lowered it off the truck, they had the box around it, but it dropped. Now there's a big dent in it. It's fully functional, but aesthetically it lost it. It might have a big scratch in it, a dig mark and a dent. And if maybe you want to save $100 or $50 or $150 or more, you can get that same appliance, and maybe it's going to be on the side that's not exposed. It's the side up on the wall, so it works perfectly. They will say pretty much that we're not going to give you a warranty for it, but you take your chances. You're only going to spend much less, so therefore this thing is still brand new, and you can still get a factory warrant, right? Warrant. Right? They're going to arrest the washing machine. So us in life, those who are scratch and dent people, individuals, which it's most of us, because most of us have gone through our lives and caught many dents, bangs, dings, and scratches, and we realize it most of the time, and some of us don't realize it. And as we get older, we look, and this thing is looking mad fuzzy. I think if I have to put my finger on the screen, maybe it'll align more. But you know what? It's not about super clarity. There's something I did to this screen, and I'm just going to leave it like that. It may end up being all right anyway. Let me move a little closer and move a little bit back. Maybe that'll help it. I'll put my hand up and then pull it back. That did help. Look at that. But anyway, we don't realize it lots of times. We don't realize how scarred we are. And as we get older, we don't realize how much we're living in the past. And so with me, I always try to keep myself in a state of movement towards something. Multiple things that maybe I don't get to them right away, but I'm reaching and striving for something. I'm not sitting down and just every day, back in 1971, this happened to me in 1979, this happened to me, and every day I'm letting every day go by that has the potential for something new, because I'm stuck in the past that way. Yes, we all have a past, and we all think about our past, and hopefully we can think about our past in a remedial way where we can learn from the misjudgments. And I'm not going to say mistakes, I'm going to say misjudgments, because sometimes we don't know really what we're doing when we make a decision because of the state of mind that we're in at that particular time, right? I'll just say misjudgment. But you can't hold yourself to task your whole life when you have the present, which is going to make up for the new future. So people tell me, Lance, how do you keep up doing this? Because my mind is zoned in my lane on what I'm put here to do. And I have no time to look back at my past in a depressing way, only in a way where I can learn, only in a way where I can look back and say, you know what, if I did this way, this would have came out different. But you know what? I can't change it. It's not going to change. All I can do is frame that particular time of misjudgment in a different light, so when I am encountered with another similar situation, I know how not to deal. That what I'm not going to do, which is going to bring the same result that many regret in the past. I have no time to regret anything. I'm striving for the future. I'm striving for my future. There it is, losing focus again. Let me see. Pull it back to my face. Okay, let me stand over here a little bit. I don't know. But that's how it is. Now, have you ever seen a person, and I'm comparing this in an analogy form of which I'm known for, that should be my nickname, Dr. Analogy or something like that. It's always been that way. These comparisons come easy for me. But have you ever seen someone drive what amounted to a jalopy, an old beat up car? An old beat up car that's hanging on to its last life. The body is dimpled and dented and scratched and just different color parts on it, and the bumper's held up by a coat hanger. It's just a mess, blowing smoke, showing they don't even tune the vehicle up or take it to change the oil. They just have bad practices with this vehicle. And they go into the traffic, they're not even driving fast, and they get into a mild fender bender, meaning a mild accident where the accident that they had, maybe the person behind them bumped them a little bit and it shocked them, and it probably didn't even leave its own dent from that accident. But guess what? That owner of the jalopy is now going to turn around and blame everything that happened in that jalopy's life under the ownership of that neglectful vehicle owner. So that little tap that you gave that vehicle, they're going to blame you for everything and try to get your insurance to pay for everything that they neglected. You see, we have people in life who are just the same way. They get into your life and they figure, wow, I can make up for all my past sins by getting with this person, and it's going to make up for all the regrets that I talk about all day, every day, because I'm going to hitch my cart on to their horse and ride off, and they're going to take me to a new life. But these people do not plan their own lives to make it better. They don't want to face what it is that they did as far as misjudgment, and they want to put it on you now. But they can't. But they have figured, if I get with this person, it's going to erase all my sins. And when they don't, all hell breaks loose, because you know what? They're going to come to you with their delusional dumb asses and blame you for all the hurt. They're not saying it exactly, but you're the problem for everything. All the F-ups they did from the 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010s, 2020. You're the focal point of it because they were walking around with all of these dents. All of these bad relationships in the past, bad decisions in the past, different mishaps that happened to them, trauma that happened to them. They acted like you being in their life you're going to be their Jesus Christ to erase all of their sins. And now they're in a space where they really have to account and look at their lives for themselves, but they don't want to do this. No, I didn't get with you, so you did all of this to me. These kind of people are batshit crazy, delusional, and if you stay silent on them, they will construct an imaginary life and say things that you did not say. These people, scratch and dent people who are in denial, you gotta leave them people alone. You're like, wait a second, I ain't say that. Yeah, and you told me that we were going to get married and have this big house on the hill and whatever. Look, here's the bottom line. If you don't move in a timely fashion in this life, for some people, certain things are not going to happen. It's sad but true. Everybody is not going to get to the promised land of having 2.5 vehicles, a white picket fence in this existence. There are too many men and women who are running around here feeling that this is owed to them. And you have people out here who can't see, who can't walk, who are homeless, who have mental breakdowns, who are riding high and then they fell financially and now they've lost it. Not to be a doomsayer, but we sit here and what cracks me up is that these people make no move or no plan toward anything. What are you doing today to move to your goals? I ain't doing nothing. What are your plans for the next 5 years? I don't know. But you are to generate this for them. Scratch and dent people. You don't have to be a scratch and dent person. We're saying that for the surface, but deep down, if the mechanism is not working right, it's much more than being a scratch and dent person. Blaming someone for all the dents and all the scratches and all the broken glass and flat tires that you had. So now they bump into you for a time and they figure out you're going to fix everything wrong with them through your insurance. Because they see your trajectory. They see where you're going. They see your confidence. They see your ability to work hard, and they don't want to face the trauma. And usually it's a lot of things they don't want to face that they did, but they ain't going to tell you the story that way. People like this will always blame everybody while sitting on their ass. Well, if you're such a go-getter and you did this and you did that, I'm not seeing it now. Scratch and dent. And maybe the motor or the engine or the mechanical mechanism on the inside is not working because they were dropped. And maybe they weren't dropped. Maybe it's karma for the BS that they did in their lives before. It's easy to fabricate a profile on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I can get on LinkedIn, which is basically a social media business site, and say that I'm the CEO of $1 trillion company and put on a nice suit. And they research and they don't see anything about LANCESCURV being no trillionaire. But it's so easy to hitch on to a person's reality and get credibility because of your proximity to them. And the thing is that the older on a chronological level that we get as scratch and dent people, that dream fades away even more, not knowing that you might not be here next year, not knowing that you might live for another 30 or 40 years and be alive past 100. Can I stop the fact that I'm 60 years old in April? No. But what keeps me young is my enthusiasm for the next day. Why would I come up here around midnight and get up on a video because there's things inside of me, things I thought about. It's like when you make the tea or make the coffee and it's running over with fluid, with water. You see? Because you have so much in you. Even with the scratches and the dents that I have. A little scratch here from hitting somebody in self-defense, a knuckle here, right? One there, right? A couple of teeth gone. Gotta fix them up and go to the dentist. A scratch on my body here. But there's scratches and dents in our hearts. And there's scratches and dents in our spirit. And there's scratches and dents in our mind. And we've got to go to heal the trauma because no one is going to want you if you sit down and all you can talk about is the toxic past. What in the hell are you doing now for the future? The future's tomorrow. What am I doing for tomorrow? I already know. There's some major things that I have to do tomorrow. And they're all good, right? And I fill my day, okay, I'm going to do some of this, and I make it flexible. I was supposed to be up on the rooftop, but me and Mrs. SCURV had to go somewhere to be somewhere on time to take care of some business. So I said, listen, we'll push that to the back. I'll do that toward the end of the day. And then I went and laid down in the bed for a second. I was like, now let me get up. I got to get up and talk about this. It'll be a big gap in what I'm putting up online if I don't talk about this for today, even though today is tomorrow, but it's still yesterday if it's the East Coast. So let's see if I can get that up. But let's stop blaming others for what we didn't do and the way we're not happy with the lives as it turned out, because really and truly, you can be in your 50s, you can be in your 60s, you can be in your 70s or 80s and still move toward the life that you want. And some people say, well, it's too late because, and stop comparing your life to other people. That's another thing that I want many of you to stop doing. Stop comparing. Look, it seems like forever when you don't seem to attain a modicum of a life that you thought that you were going to get. And you might be 80 years old. Let's make it extreme. But once you get to that place of peace from the inside, it doesn't matter what the chronological age is, you are there. There are many people who live their whole life and never reach that level of peace. And they transition in a very much agonized fashion because they're comparing the peace that they should have on the inside, which only comes from the Creator, to the worldly satisfactions that are fleeting. And I've learned this, and I've absorbed this, and I understand this. Right now, I'm on top of a building. You haven't seen much people walk by. You haven't seen many cars go by. The air is beautiful. I'm in this moment. I'm not mad about what the second grade teacher did. I'm not mad about the girl that cheated on me back in the day. There are things I'm not even mad. I don't even remember being mad about. I'm right here, right now. Does it matter if I'm almost 60? Does it matter if I'm 14 years old? It's a peace that we have that we need to stop messing with and accept it as it is. But we cannot accept the peace that comes to us if we layer our lives with all of this toxic stuff and scratches and dents from the past. Who cares if there's scratches or dents? We all have them. Many of us work hard to hide them until after a while they say, I'm not going to invest any more money in this because the car is working mechanically perfect. I'm not going to do it. Well, see, there's somebody working tonight, right? Right. I'm running mechanically perfect, so who cares if you have a little weight on your gut or a couple scratches on your leg or you're missing a tooth or two. I know people who are freaking out because they are getting older. Oh, my hair and oh, my this, my that. Listen, we keep ourselves up as much as we can, right? But this thing called life, our physical body, is going to go back down to the earth because this is our vehicle for our spirit, right? But we got to get a grip on that. And when you let go of the past that way, remember it. Don't forget it. think about the things in a constructive manner. If I'm going to think about something that happened to me bad or in a traumatic fashion, I got to see the good that can come out of it as far as learning how to navigate through that system, navigate through that trauma, or not deal with it that way. Deal with it in a different way so it doesn't happen to me again. But some people, they deal the same way. And in their mind, just the slightest thing will trick them off or tick them off because they're waiting for it. They don't expect anything better for themselves. And they think that they can redo themselves up and pass themselves off as something good, but it's a bunch of non-work that's been done. It's something that's faulty. I'm not saying a human being is completely faulty. All I'm saying is that we have people that don't want to work on themselves. You can't live a healthy life if your mind's not right, if you can't face what you've been through. When I get up in the morning, I'm not thinking about, oh, well, this happened to me 20 years ago, and this happened to me 25 years ago. And what we're going to do today? I don't know. Okay, see ya. And when you make progress and you know what you need to do, and even when you're on track on what you need to do, sometimes you fall off course. And sometimes you see situations that appear to be, you on a job making X amount, and you see another job where it's 2X amount with a lot of perks. You're like, whoa. And then you come to your senses and you say, no. What I have is what many people strive for. And they would kill to get where I am. This job may not pay as much, but I know the ins and outs, and I have more stability with it, and I have a long history with it. And this is what people do. They don't think that way. Sometimes you think about decisions you almost made and you say, whoa, I'm sure glad that I didn't make that decision to leap to the scratch and dent job. Because now I would have had to inherit all the toxic things that are on that job that I didn't know about. You have workers that are there that are complaining about it, getting good money, but they're suffering. It's not a good fit. It may look good in the surface up front because that job needs people, because people are leaving it. And they're tired of people leaving that job. They want somebody to be stable there with them, but they don't want to give it up. They're incapable. There's bad leadership there. There's bad management there. And they gloss things over. And once you see what it is, you run. Maintain your peace of mind. Maintain the life that you have. Be very careful with the decisions that you make. Because you see, you have people out here, again, that do not care about you. They don't care what you have. You're like the junkyard to them. They will come and they have their beat up vehicle and they're going to take the piece off this and take the piece off that. They don't care about the vehicle they're taking the piece off of. They're going to take and not give a damn about that vehicle. And after a while, they won't give a damn about you if you're that piece. So stay put, restore, move forward, and know that you are ahead of the game in your situation more so than others, even when it doesn't seem that way. Because you'll have the spin masters and magicians come around, and the witches and the warlocks come around and try to get in your mind for their benefit, because they don't give a damn about what you already have. And what you have is your life and your positioning. And sometimes we're far up the totem pole and don't realize it. And they're down there wishing they can be up there. And they want to quantum leap and use you to put themselves in position without doing the work that they have to do for themselves. Again, we all are scratch and dent to a certain point. It's just how we deal with the scratches and deal with the dents in our heart and our mind and our spirit and our soul and our body, whatever it may be. Nobody wants to take the time to heal themselves from the trauma. They want to just jump from one thing to the other and make it seem like that jump is going to take care of what they have on the inside. See? So you always make sure to keep yourself in a place of healing so you don't bring toxic energy to another person's reality. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants a person that's gonna have all this stuff cooped up inside of them, but they acting all nice, but I got all this garbage and baggage with me. Could you imagine if we can really see the toxic baggage that people bring with them in the form of hefty bags? You know, I was driving the van one night, the dollar van in Queens, New York, the Q9 route, up on Sutphin Boulevard by the fish market, back in the day, back in the 90s. And I had cards, and I had, you know, a couple of bootleg phones. Back then, cell phones were very expensive, so I think I told too much. They'd work a little bit, and then you had to switch the number. But I had one that was legit, that had one number. And always on a Friday night, sometimes Saturday night, I'd get a call. Because I grew up in that very neighborhood that I drove the van, so I had some deep-rooted ties with people, and they trusted me. They trusted me with a lot. Sometimes they go on vacation and give me the keys to the house and say, Lance, go on in there and make sure to put the lights on, change the lights on around, whatever. They give me a little something for it. You know what I mean? So I wasn't just a guy who drove a van in the street along the bus line. I was a guy, and just like with many of the other guys that had good relationships with people around there, it was a great community feel, and that's something that I miss about that particular area. New York City in general is so industrialized. But anyway, dang, what was I going to say? I just lost my point. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Has something to do with the van. And wow, I can't believe I had a brain fart by detouring and explaining that part of it a little more. But what I will say on the point of what I was trying to say, something similar, because it's going to come back to me, but there was a trust because folks knew that I didn't bring a criminal element. They knew I didn't bring some nosy element that, oh, this is what I wanted to say, okay? I was going to talk on and get into something else. But usually on a Friday and Saturday night was a time when people broke up. And they would call me, there'd be a little shame. They say, Lance, just come on down, and my girl threw me out. A lot of times guys threw women out. Women do dirty, grimy things too. You know, there's this one guy who actually, he was dating this woman, and she started to live with him. Not all the time. She had her own place, but she was there 75%, you know, most of the time. But he had a girlfriend that lived out of state. And one week out of the month, she'd come there. But this is a twisted situation. I'm not condoning it. I'm only explaining it. The one who was in town living with him 3/4 of the time had to get out, right? Because the main one, and she was acknowledged as the main one, the one that lived out of the state, she was coming back. So things had to be spick and span. You couldn't be leaving no hair in the comb and whatever. This chick took some panties of hers, because when that woman would come home for the 1 week, she basically cleaned up and went through everything, not to check on him, but that's the way she was. This other 3-week woman, we'll call it the 3-week woman, right? But she wasn't really the woman yet, because he was in the Valley decision. He had issues with the other one. He had issues with both of them. But she was going to jumpstart this move. She had put all kind of frilly panties all in his stuff, so that when she left and that woman came home to clean up, she'd find it and they'd break up, and she was just going to move right on in on him, even though she was there most of the time anyway. But when he saw that spirit, oh wow, you going to leave panties here and try to make up my mind for me? I told you the deal from up front. Why are you going to do something like that? So then he went into cold mode, like, I'm not dealing with this chick. Take your stuff and get out. Because that kind of spirit, now they doing all kind of things anyway that they shouldn't be doing, common sense wise, we know that. But when he saw that aspect of her heart, and they were kind of young, he got rid of her. And so I would say that Friday nights and Saturday nights, there were lots of hefty bags being brought out into the street of people's clothes and belongings when they shacked up with somebody and they lived with somebody. And I would always get that call, right? So I said that from me meaning that if we can see the toxicities and the traumas and the effed upness of people in the form of hefty bags, meaning that Oh, this is your trauma from 1975. That's one bag. This is your trauma for you having them 10 abortions. This is your trauma from stealing some money from the petty cash on somebody's corporate job. This is your the thing from when you were on drugs for 3 years and you jacked up the relationship with your family. All these different bags. Some of us would have bags around the corner of traumas that we still carry, that we try to deny and never really deal with. You got to watch a person who cannot show you long-term relationships in their life. What happened? What is your pattern? What did you do that you can't go visit your friend? What is it that you did that you can't deal? Why is this? And sometimes it happens. Some of us sometimes have not much family and we go through things when a state of ourselves. I understand that. But if you've done all these great things in life on your resume, how come every time I call the prior company to ask if you work there, they say they don't know you? So these are things you got to look out for. Because again, a lot of the scratch and dent people who are in denial, they don't care about scratching up your life and denting up your life. And so you got to do just like Muhammad Ali did when he fought George Foreman in October of 1974. Robodope. Cover yourself up. Block the blows. Because they're looking at you as a junkyard with full of parts to fill their life up, no matter how much they jack your life up. These are very, very toxic people. And they will lie. They're pathological liars. You catch them in lies, but don't say anything. Just watch. I caught you in that lie. I caught you in that. Caught them in 15 lies. While they try to convince you how great they are. Be careful of these people in your life on any level. Stay away from them until they straighten themselves up. And if they have decades and decades and decades of sob stories and everything, they're the victim. Listen, what part did you play in this bad boy? And why are you still crying over it if it's something you got over? What about the future? I'm not going to sit down on the curb with the winos. Well, I could have been the heavyweight champ of the world. Or I could have had a business. Or I was the best mechanic. Or I could have went to school and I was brilliant. And I was. Me, I am and I will be. And I have been. And you become very valuable to people who are toxic and broken. People are broken. I'm not mad at you because you're broken. But if you don't want to do the necessary steps, and it starts with small increments, but you want to jump start to the front of the line and show out to people. It shouldn't be about showing out. It should be about healing yourself, because you know what? Again, I say, it's not promised to everybody to have this pristine life. It's not promised. But some of us get mad and we don't give a damn what we got to do to get to that life. And really and truly, if you're still toxic and have issues that you haven't dealt with, it ain't going to feel good anyway. You know what feels good? When you weather the storm, you take your time, you appreciate each day that the Creator gives you, you work on yourself, and when you deal in a very transparent way. Like a person who's selling a beat up car that's not any good, engine jacked up, transmission jacked up, needles in alignment, been hit all kind of times, and you don't know that it's wobbling sideways. And they tell you, oh, it's so great. And they start the car up 10 minutes before you get there, and they say, well, before you come, just let me know, so they can start it up. They know they have problems starting that vehicle up, but once they get it started and it's warmed up, when you get in it, oh man, this must be a good engine. It started right up. And they say, hey, listen to the sound system. That's the covering. So you don't hear the squeaks and all the noises that are messed up. People are very deceptive. And you can't put nothing past people. Because you got all kind of people who will do all kind of things you're not giving a damn. And let's use another example. You got dudes now who are so desperate to get with a woman that they know is way out of their league, that they're going to sweet talk them into a sexual situation and try to spray up in them and give them a baby so their lives can be intertwined, because he knows that he ain't no good. She's in school. She has a rich father who's about to kick the bucket. And if he can spray up in her and give her a baby and talk this love to her, find his way in, that he thinks he'll have it made for the rest of his life because it will pull on the heartstrings of hers when he's sitting next to her as the father of their child. Even though there's no talk of marriage, she might think, well, you know, I know you haven't done well in life, but you know what? You're a good guy and you are the father of my child. And listen, we can make it work. I make enough money. Just get a little job somewhere in a fast food joint. Just do something. You know what I mean? And we'll pull together. And he don't want to do nothing. He want to sit up at home and he'll be, you know, Mr. Mom, and you go out to do the work, and that's his plan, and that's all he has on his mind. You see, when you get with people, you got to understand that they're going to have their own scratches and dents, more or less, whether they tell you or not. The deal is, what have they been doing before they met you? Show me what you've been pursuing, even if you never got there yet, all the way. Show me what you've been pursuing for these last few years. It depends on their age. You can't knock them too much at the 22. You're not going to have 10 years of, you know, detailed, intense work toward this goal of being a brain surgeon. No. But if they 40 something, if they 50 something, if they 60 something, what in the hell have you been doing? And if I wasn't around, where was your trajectory taking you? Where were you going to go if you don't even know me? You should have some type of study, some type of, you know, books on the shelf of all these things you want to do in this one particular area of expertise. Show me. Don't just tell it. Scratch and dent. Who don't want to deal with the scratches and who don't want to deal with the dents? I ain't the body man to fix the body. I'm trying to do my own thing. I'm not going to slow down. No, I'm not selfish, but I mean, when you get people, the closer they get to you in proximity, and they already have in their mind what role you going to play in their life to get them to where they want to get to. It's like that guy down the block that never got any play from the neighborhood women. Not that he was looking to play or go to bed with them, but just to be cordial. You know, they're having a cookout, you don't invite them. He's having a little get together. He says, yeah, bring your friends. Come on over. Let's just have... No. But as soon as he gets that brand new luxury car, he looks different. Oh, hi. Oh, I'm going to the mall today. You want to come with me? No, that's not really on my plans. Why don't you want to come with me? Working him up to be Mr. Cab Driver or to be seen because he has that new car. This works both ways, right? But we have a lot of manipulators who don't want to stand up on their own 2 feet, don't want to bring themselves to full strength, and they want to lean and lay on you as a means of fixing their life. Like they had the show, the spinoff from Oprah Winfrey's show, Iyanla Vanzant, Iyanla Fix My Life. They ain't trying to fix their life. They're trying to make you take your precious life force and fix their lives. How selfish. How lazy. How deceptive. Be careful of these dead weights. If they can't face the fact that they blew it for many decades in their life, then they must go on. Because you can start from wherever you stand. And it's not as bad as you think because there's worse out there. You worry about your feet hurt, there are people that don't have feet. You worried about your eyes going and your eyesight, you need some glasses or some contact lenses. There are people who are blind, who have even more of a joyous spirit than many of you. There are many people who are technically what they call handicapped, and they're not handicapped because they have dealt with what the shortcomings physically that they have, and they realize they're alive and they can make a difference and they can improve their lives. Situations do not have to be perfect for you to improve. I didn't know how this day was going to go. I didn't know I was going to be out here this late doing a rooftop, people downstairs walking past, what the hell that guy doing up there with a light flashing in his face? But this is in me and I must do this because this will touch someone, reach someone. I've met many wonderful people through this medium and I'm going to keep it going, right? And like I said, there are lots of scratch and dent people who are envious of you when you're doing a damn thing consistently, not only for a couple months, not even for a couple years, but several decades. Really and truly, it's 22 years for me in February, but this really and truly would be my third decade. Not 30 years, my third from 2000 to 2010. I started in 2001. It's one decade. From 2010 to 2020, that's another. I'm into my third decade, even though it's early in that decade, right? Coming up on a quarter of a century. So what does that tell me? I need to keep doing what I'm doing because there's many things now branching off. And it was told to me by somebody who I hold very special, who has actually told me people by name. They said, Lance, you may not like me, but I'm going to tell you about this one here. Don't wear them things no more. There's something on there to control you. Get this person away from me. I know what you did. I'm not mad at you, but don't do that again. Move this way, move that way. Get up earlier. Get out in the sun. Have fun with your platform. That's what I'm doing now. I'm not rigid. I've got to get up every day and chasing something? No, let it chase me. It's a whole different mindset, and I am so happy moving into this so-called calendar year of 2023. Born in 1963, and this is 2023, and I remember in the late 60s, I said, Mommy, what am I going to be when the year 2000 comes? Lance, you're going to be 37 years old. Wow, 37. Mommy, that's old. And I done passed it a long time, and if I was to turn 37 right now and look and say, oh, I'm not near 60 no more, I say, boy, I'm young. But it's not an old young thing. It's a relative thing, because if you can see those mountains behind me, how long have they been here? How many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, have those mountains been there? I'm a Johnny-come-lately, and I'm a quick vapor of flash of energy through this world. Like I say, this life is a pit stop to eternity. Why am I stressing the few years that I'm here? Let me face what I need to face to be able to get to the next level. Because if I don't, I'm going to have to go back and deal and sort through the trash bags of trauma that I'm denying and I'm disowning. No, I can't push this off on somebody else. This is my homework to do. And that's the secret of youth, whether you look older or not. But if you feel youthful in your spirit, you'll be forever young. Even at the point of transition, that day, you will feel young in your spirit if you can still laugh, even if you're ailing. We don't need to fear this thing called death. I'm living my life full right up until the time. I have no time to be stuck here talking about something that happened to me years ago and then hiding it. That's like taking a dump in my pants and tell somebody, oh, you got the same size pants I have. Can I change and wear the ones that you have here, and I'll leave these here? And you go check the pants and you want to put them in the wash, and there's a big load of dump inside of them bad boys. That's how we try to pass ourselves off. And scratching dent people, stop looking to evaluate people around you to see who you can use in a predatory fashion. Because a lot of those folks are smart. They're like, okay, I know what this is all about. You won't be around me too long, predator. Work on your shit. Sorry to say it. I had to say it at some point during this video, but I just want to say always in unexpected fashion. But, you know, when you feel the time to come up, when you feel the time to end it or flow here and flow there, because I'm going to go downstairs and record something. There's something else I got to talk about, right? But I just want to say salute to my brothers. Much love to my sisters. It's always a pleasure and an honor to come up here and just flow. If somebody said, Lance, you're crazy, you're not making any sense, stop doing it, I probably will stop doing it. I probably just draw my pictures or just write a few articles or whatever. But no, if you're getting some benefit from this, this is beyond me. These are things that I've learned. And I don't think I know everything. I'm still in the process of learning. I'm still in the process of healing, because I too am a scratch and dent individual. But I think I've minimized my scratches and I minimized my dents, but I will never deny that they were there. I'll never try to pass myself off as a brand new vehicle. I have things and idiosyncrasies that tick me off. You know, they're less than it was 10 years ago and much less than it was 20 and 30 years ago. But we are all in a place of healing if we face ourselves. We can all talk and say we are, but it doesn't mean we are. And I am better than I was this time last year. Next year I'll be better than I was now. And hopefully what I present to the Creator at the time of my transition was something that's a lot better than the experiences on a negative level that I've had in this world. that I bring myself back to a sense of wholeness, because this is an obstacle course and we're to pass this test with flying colors, and sometimes we fail. Just because you fail one test in school doesn't mean they kick you out of the school forever. If you're sincerely looking to learn yourself, meditate, make yourself better, it can be done. There's a lot of knowledge out here, people to talk to that want to help you, and books that you can read and things you can go on the internet. So there's no excuse for not healing. And there's really no excuse for you to try to pass your toxic or toxicities and trauma in them hefty bags, moving on up in somebody else's house, because it's not going to be nice until you get yourself right. Anyway, much love to you all. I hope this video reached you in the best of health, mental health, success according to your divine plans with nature and not in a man-made world. And let's move on and think about ourselves more to make ourselves better, because like I said, that's the thing that's going to keep us forever young in our spirit. The toxicities corrode us, they corrode our spirit, it bogs us down, and we wake up to another day and already feel defeated. Sometimes it's okay to feel down, but try to figure out the reason why. I remember when I was in bodybuilding years ago, and I read something, I believe it was Frank Zane, 3-time Mr. Olympia. I think he won it in 77, 78, 79. I met him in Willingboro, New Jersey, back in 1981 at a bodybuilding competition. And he had earlier had an accident, a freak accident. He was sitting down on a lawn chair next to his pool, and he leaned over and the whole mechanism collapsed, and one of the parts that move up and down came out and sliced him up under his testicles. So he couldn't compete that year, but he was doing some guest posing stuff, and it was a very positive experience for me, because basically he said I couldn't train for many months, but I took that time to learn more about the human body, how it deals with food, the best ways to train even more biomechanically, exercise physiology, and different things with herbs and different things to heal. And he came back as a better bodybuilder. Even though he didn't win the Olympia anymore, he came back not only as a better bodybuilder, but a better person, because his depth of understanding got even deeper. And that's the beautiful thing in life, that the more you go deep into this life, and the more that you study, and the more that you learn, the more that you realize it's a big world out there. I saw some articles today about some archaeologists in the Grand Canyon, how there was a slice. You know how they have the different layers, and it denotes time periods in millions of years, and there was one that was several billion years old that was missing. Why is it missing? There's some other things that they found by mistake in the United States and over in Egypt digging. It's like, man, underwater they're finding stuff. Technology is getting up there, even though they're using technology for bad stuff. Elon Musk and him want to put the chip in the back of your head. I'm not going for that. I don't know what it had me doing. I'd be doing a robot and, punching people in the face. He'd be like, go rob a bank, nigga. You know what I mean? It ain't going to happen like that. But it's a wonderful world when you look at it from a place of peace. There's always going to be war. There's always going to be turmoil. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people who don't like you because of the light that you have inside of you. I had to deal with that as soon as I moved here. Very surprising situations, but I overcome them. And I'm even lighter and more enthusiastic. And those individuals are nowhere near me to stop me. How you doing, individuals? Must be frustrating because SCURV is going up high. You know what I mean? You will always be victorious as long as you ball up your fist. And it's not a boxing match that you can lose. But in your spirit, if you ball up your spiritual fists and say, listen, I'm going to take the word of my creator and the instructions of my creator and move in this world, in this boxing ring of life. And if I listen to him/her, right? We ain't going to argue if it's a him or a her, right? I will be victorious. You'll always come up, right? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, because I have been, y'all don't know all I've been through. I've been through a whole lot. Silently, and took the punches, boom, boom, took them. I threw a few of my own, but I took a lot, body blows, things you'll never see. And this is why I'm so intense, and this is why I am a fighter, and I will never quit. Anyway, much love to you all. Leave your comment, talk to me, tell me the subjects that you want me to talk about, because pretty much I've experienced it. If I haven't experienced it, I've seen it, or I've talked to somebody about it. And me being what I would call a late bloomer And even though I may be a scratch and dent person, trust me, put me on the showroom floor, you won't see too much scratch and dents. It's an amazing story that I've had, and I want to share it with everybody. And I'm here to help. It's not about popularity. It's not about hits. What if this video gets 100 hits? I don't care. If it's 2 people that talk to me out of it, I'm successful. It's the human exchange. See? And I'm damn sure going to put the work in, right? I've been doing it for almost 22 years, and nothing's going to stop me now. Anyway, you all take care. Have a good night, a good morning, good afternoon, whenever you see this video. I'm still going to be up. My spirit is telling me to keep talking. But I get down there and do some more editing and eventually sleep and have the most deepest sleep. Peace of mind is a sweet thing, right? Anyway, much love to you all. I'll talk to you in the next one. LANCESCURV out. Peace.